was the spark. Respect your DNA.
Family, court is in session. Tonight we open a case that haunted generations. A case nobody wants to judge. A case nobody wants to face. A case, yes, a case. Nobody wants to deal with. And this is years of damage, years of confusion. Tonight, we deal in facts, not beliefs. And the facts is this: the Black family did not fall apart by accident. Something broke it, something attacked it, something designed it. And tonight, we expose that system. I'm the Honorable Junns, the fact breaker, and welcome to the verdict. Yes, yeah. So exhibit, before we even get to the exhibit, let's play this. Yeah, this is not entertainment, guys. This is not gossip. This is not a story night. This is court. This is where the judge, we judge the system that judged us first. Family, before we begin, I want you guys to type facts in the chat. And if you're ready to deal with it in real time and not the foolishness and not what the people pretend is real, then please make sure you leave a comment. Tonight, we're going to present 3 exhibits. Exhibit A, the government. Exhibit B, religion. And Exhibit C, culture. And when the last exhibit closes, I will deliver the final verdict on who is guilty of destroying the Black family. Shall we begin? So we're going to start with exhibit. We're going to start with exhibit A. Exhibit A, guys, the government. Yeah. I know. Let's get ready. So family, as you guys can see, we're starting off with exhibit A. I want you to see something. The destruction of the Black family did not start inside of our homes. The destruction began long before we was even born. Watch this quick fast. Just like that. I want you to watch that. Let's play it again. Okay? Generations after generations split, broken, dissolved, and programmed to think we did this ourselves. This is not a fact. This is propaganda. And tonight, we're going to tear down this propaganda apart. Let's begin again with Exhibit A, the government. Okay? Cool. Let's go to Solar 3. Okay? So we setting up the stage so you guys can look accordingly. So family, look at this machinery. This is not random. This is not a mistake. This is not a natural collapse. This is design. How do you destroy a home? You remove the foundation. And that is exactly what the government did. They created welfare rules that punished families for having a father present. If a man was in the homes, the family received nothing. And if he left, the benefits came along. This is not help. This is what you call bribery. Payments for destruction. Mandatory minimums aimed at black communities, targeting policies, targeting policing, prison economics, three strike laws, zero tolerance, stop and frisk, all hitting the same target over and over and over again. Fathers remove, mothers overwhelm, children become weakened. This is not an opinion. This is not a theory. These are the facts. Family, Exhibit A shows that the government policies was a direct attack on the black family structure. Let that sink in. Let that sink in just for a little bit. Okay? And as while you letting that marinate, put a facts in the comment if you agree. And if you disagree, put nah, I don't believe. Or just put belief if you don't agree. Please let us continue. Hold on. You know, we just getting started, guys. We just getting started. Put that away. No. There we go. Oh no, this is not what I even wanted to show you guys. Hold on. Hold on. That's not what I want to show you. We're going to go to Exhibit B. Exhibit B, religion. Oh yeah, we you know we're going to have to talk about religion. Religion is the foundation of it all. Okay? Religion is the foundation of it all, guys. Oh yeah. Religion is the foundation of it all. Okay? Now that we have an understanding of what we are watching, let me make sure you guys can hear me clearly. Okay? Now that we got an understanding of what's going on, family, look at that. This was not built for us. Excuse me. This was not built for us. This Euro religion was not given to uplift, it was given to control, to erase our identity, to weaken the minds, to reshape our souls into something passive, obedient, and harmless. They replaced our names with theirs. They replaced our heroes with theirs. They replaced our spiritual system with doctrines of submission, obey authorities, obey suffering, obey oppression. That's not liberation. That's what you call indoctrination. And that indoctrination bled into our families. It told our men to be silent. It told our women to endure abuse as loyalty. It told our children that their power was evil and their original culture was a sin. Okay, this exhibit shows a psychological attack on the black family. That's not accidental, not accidental, not accidental. All of it was by design. Okay, now we're going to bring forth Exhibit C. Let me put Exhibit C on the screen for you guys. Let's remove B. Let's bring forth Exhibit C. Okay, Exhibit C, as you guys can see, culture, violence, gender wars, dysfunction. Okay, but before we do that, you know I gotta give you guys the screen. Hold on, we not playing with these people, man. This is what today's society is bringing forth to the people, guys. There you go, right there, front and center. Okay, okay. No, I want you guys to see my face. So, Exhibit C, culture, right? We're gonna talk about this culture just a little bit. We might have to bang the gavel a few times, but we're gonna talk about it. Family, culture is the battlefield people don't see. When the government attacks the bodies and religion attacks the mind, culture attacks the soul. Look at what they fed us as black culture. Music celebrating violence, shows pushing dysfunction, gender war content, street glorification, drugs, disrespect, self destruction packaged as entertainment. And who profits? Not us. It's never us. The more we fight, the richer they get. The more we self destruct, the more the system grows. This exhibit exposed the spiritual poison of the black family. Again, not by accident, but by design. Family, think about that. Now, that's all the exhibits are seeing. We move to judgment. Drop a facts in the chat. If you see the patterns, scroll down. Leave your opinions in the chat. Okay? Now let's just have a brief conversation. So we know that the government, the system was designed to enslave. The Constitution is not for black people. The Constitution was not for black people. The Bill of Rights was not for black people. There's not a single law that's made in America that protects black people because the Constitution protects human beings. And according to them, you are considered property. You are seen as a pet. You are seen as an animal. You are seen as goyim, cattle. This is why they teach you to say the word kids. Yeah, man, I love my kids because your child is a living sacrifice. All of these things play a pivotal role in how we function. The words even saying things like, yo, that's my kid right there. Or we say little things like good morning. And you teach your child to say that. You're teaching your child to wake up and hate themselves. All of this is not by coincidence. Okay? This is what the government instituted, the very foundation of the forefathers. All the forefathers were slave owners. All the forefathers just put things in place to protect the slave owner's interests. And the interest at that time, the stocks at that time, which is still stocks at this time, was you, black man. So when I see our people go over and beyond trying to uphold a system, protect it, you're disrespecting your ancestors. There was a point in time where black people couldn't dare join the police department. There was a part of time where black people couldn't dare join the fire department. It was once upon a time. But when you fast forward to 2025, you find a bunch of our people literally wake up looking forward to serve, protect, to live and die by the rules and regulations of a society, of a land that did nothing but pure evil to them. And the system will always give you a reminder. The system will always give you a reminder of what you're dealing with. Okay? All right? The government removed your protection. Religion removed your identity. And the culture removed the unity. And then the system said, look at you. You failed by yourself. This is what they do. They create the stage. It's like they created the meal. They let us watch us eat the meal. And now that we have stomach influx and all the bad things that come with this bad food, they say, well, You the one that got sick. You the one that ate it. You're the one that ate it without washing your hands, etc., etc. These are the things that they tell us. But in reality, it was them that cooked the food, that put it in our face. And in some circumstances, they told you that if you don't eat, you'll be unalive. Similar to what they did to you guys in 2020, when they said if you're not situated, you can't go to work. There's nothing new under the sun. Like I said before, and I'm going to continue saying it over and over and over again. This behavior that we are displaying in 2025, all of this is taught behavior. This is not a behavior of our ancestors. This is not a behavior of our creators, of our forefathers. This is not even a behavior of our DNA. This is a barbaric behavior that was taught to you by barbaric people, that gave you a book that is filled with barbaric activities. And the barbaric people told you that the barbaric people in the book is you. And the barbaric God is your God. And you believe that. And you continue summoning, praying, getting on your knees, taking bread, drinking wine, doing all of this, doing all of that for a barbaric God that came from barbaric people that want to turn the righteous people, God, the ancestors' creation, the universe creation, the creator's creation, turn those people into barbaric individuals. And in return of being this barbaric person, the land and the universe steps away from you. This is why we're going through our trials and tribulations, and these people know that. Why you think they flood your TV with violence? Why you think they flood your radio with violence? Why you think they're sexualizing black women? Why you thinking they're demoralizing, feminizing the black man? All of that goes against the universe. A universe that you can trace your DNA back to the very substance of the stars. Everything that the creators have created are in the same frequency as in the day of creation. We are the only people that got off task. And because of us getting off task, you see what the universe has displayed. You wasn't enslaved because of breaking the commandments. No. You was not enslaved for breaking the commandments. The commandments was given to you to justify and make you accept the fact that you were enslaved. That's exactly, and I repeat, that is exactly what the Biblos and religion has done to you. Made you come to terms and acceptance of you being at the bottom, of you suffering, of you being enslaved, of you being incarcerated, of you being unalive, of you being falsely persecuted, of you being, your house being invaded, your community being invaded, and of course you being separated. This is what these people have given you. The same, and I know I'm getting off task, but I have to speak this. I have to speak this for the people that's in the loss. It's time for you to break up. It's time for you to break up with this religion that you're claiming onto. Check this out, guys. The very man that they said was a black man, a King James was a black man. This same King James also wrote a demonic book. This same King James got all the best writers strictly from England, who was Europeans, by the way. And he got the best writers to compile and write a story. They looked into every what you call that? Every sacred text, and they picked what they wanted and what they didn't want it. And a news flash for you heathens, Hebrews, and heathenites. That Deuteronomy, you can tell when you read it, you can tell it was a creation by man. Remember, he got the best writers. And we don't just stop there, guys. Oh no. This black man that you saying was one of us, him and his mother or his wife, whoever it may be, funded the ship called the ship of Jesus of Lebec. Lebec, the ship Jesus of Lebec. When they purchased that boat, King James was still alive, fully active. How you know he was fully active, Junes? Because in the east shores of America, there are towns in those areas named Jamestown. He took stake in your enslavement. And you guys are so lost in the source. You really believe that he wrote a book to prepare you for one day because they was going to change the language and this. These are all lies, bro. These are all lies, bro. You guys can't speak the Hebrew, can't do none of it. You can't. And you never will. Ask yourself, how is the average person able to speak the Arabic language? I know black people that speak the whole of Quran because they can speak it. They pray in that language. But when it comes to the Hebrew, none of you guys could talk it. I'm talking even all the way down to the radical niggas that you find on 42nd Street. They can't speak it. Ask yourself why they can't speak it. Ask yourself why they can't speak it. You know why? Because you are under attack from three sides at the same time. And now, the final verdict must be delivered. Okay? And I know I'm long-winded, but hey, I got to give you guys the story because only the facts is going to set you guys free. Only the facts is going to set you guys free. Let me bang the gavel on you heathens, Hebrews, and you heathenites. Because this is a culture that they gave you. This is a mentality that they gave you. And look at the number one products they use to infuse and corrupt your mind. The microphone for the music and the television. So until you put that mic down and until you turn off that TV, and eventually we might have to add the phones as well. Until you guys do this, no matter what you do, no matter how many lives that I do, how many protests, marching, how many council meetings we attend, how many hands that we shake, until we address the elephant in the room, there will be absolutely no uprise. And all they need you is to be ignorant just for a little while longer. Because by the time you guys wake up and realize what the heck is going on, they're going to have rules and regulations in place where you're not going to be able to pass gas without permission. They're already putting the carbon shit out right now. Or you're only allowed to have this amount of so-called carbons for this for the week. And if you exceed that, we're taking it out of your check. And if you don't have no money, well, You don't know what happens to people with no money. It's a possibility that you might just be incarcerated. But you see, you're gonna have to pay back what you're owed. You see, you guys don't understand what's going on. You know why you don't understand what's going on? Because you're still brainwashed over the ideology and a philosophy that came along with a barbaric book that was forced down your throat and through time became a soothing comfort and acceptance to your demise or your acceptance to dysfunctional lifestyle of yours. And meanwhile, like I said, by the time we wake up and we see what's going on, it's gonna already be too late. We see all of this going on. We see all of this going on, and yet we're not putting the pieces together. Like, why is my child a fisherman? Why is my daughter liking girls? Why is the music that my children are listening to solely promotes death after death after death after death after death? Why? Why? Why every time I turn on the radio, turn this down a little bit, mic check, mic check. Why every time I turn on the radio and I go into a radio station that is not black, is always peace, is always soothing, is always beneficial, meditating, stimulating, it stems the mind. It keeps everybody in a state of focus. But when I listen to black people music, it's always a man. If it's R&B, he's lusting over a girl and the things that he would do to her. My Wiz was playing something just earlier today. The nigga called himself a dog in a mutt. Like, this is what he did. He called himself a dog in a mutt. And this is a song that he's singing to a woman. And my Wiz, she's singing it like you could just, and it's like we don't even see the disrespect that goes along with that. So here's a black man calling himself a mutt to a woman that's accepting him being a mutt. So you know he's a dog, but you're gonna accept that. And in the same time, while you accepting that, right? While you accepting that, you know eventually he's gonna end up going elsewhere. And what happens if a child is in the mix? Are you going to leave him? Are you going to accept the fact that he was a dog and you're going to stick around and deal with that? No. Chances are you're going to walk away. So here is a system setting up the stage for failure. Right there. Right there. So when you take little things like that and you put it where it needs to be, everything starts making sense. When you look at what religion has displayed towards black people, it's beyond idiotic to me. You have to be in a state of delusion, aka insane, complete insanity when you participate and you indulge yourself in their ideology. I was insane when I thought I was a Hebrew Israelite. I was insane when I thought the Biblos was a story of African people in Africa. I was insane. And the reason why for my insanity was because I was programmed to believe that the reason why my family, my ancestors are in these circumstances is because we wasn't keeping the laws and following the ways of X, Y, and Z. This is what I really thought. Until you wake up and you start going down these rabbit holes and you're like, hold on, this is not adding up. If the story took place in Africa and the book is about Africans and it's an African story, then the book must also add up with the kingdoms of Africa. And not only that, the mass majority of the people should know everything about this story. But they don't. And when I speak to the El Kebulans, I'm talking about those that had not subject themselves to the ideology, because there's people in the land right now that can trace their belief system, their core essence and belief, they can trace that all the way back before the arrival of Jesus. They can. I was with a security officer from Nigeria. Shout out to you, my brother. And I told him, yo, man, I want to go move to Africa. And I said, yo, and into our conversation, I was like, yo, bro, what was you practicing like before the story of Jesus? And he was like, what you mean? I was like, what was our people doing before you guys got the understanding of Jesus? You know, when I go into the land, I don't want to know nothing about no Jesus. I don't want no Jesus. I don't want no Allah. I want to learn my vocabulary roots. At first, he thought I was somebody that didn't believe in God. He was like, wait, so you don't believe in the high power? I was like, no, that's not what I said. I said, I don't believe in the ideologies and the philosophies that comes along with the Euro-Christian belief. What was our people doing? I told him, I was like, I know about Ulamari, Modimo, etc. He was like, he looked at me like, oh, you do? Like, yeah. What was we practicing? And when he seen where I was at, he was like, oh yeah, we still do, etc., etc. But it's very scarce now because a lot of our people is still converting to their philosophy. There was people in Africa right now, guys. There was people in Africa right now that was literally looking forward to a rapture in Africa, looking into the sky and all that. And when they seen nothing happen, they still was looking forward for another rapture. They said, well, he didn't come. And then, these pastors are going to say, no one knows the time and the day for his arrival. Nobody knows, not even me, but the Father. So now this is the narrative that they're running with. This is the narrative that all these Abrahamic believers is running with. Nobody knows. Nobody knows but the Father. All we can do is endure, keep the commandments, move in righteousness. I know, look at a brother that just kept the commandments is no longer here. Not only is he no longer here, but the way he was removed from the earth makes you question the very belief. Like, damn, here's a man that devoted, made music, did all of this, and look, that's how he went out. There was no angels to prevent that from happening. The God that he's calling on couldn't let him just leave the earth in peace. That's how he went out. Makes you question the very thing that you worshiping. And I didn't and listen, for me, I didn't even want to bring it up. And I don't even want to talk about it because I know people right now, they're still in their state of hurt. They're hurting. And who am I to be like, see, you know, I told you. I don't want to be the one that say I told you, especially when people is down. I'll wait for the summer. I'll wait for it to get warm. I'll wait for it to be 3, 4, 5 months in. And I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna say, look what happened. I'm gonna, yo, bro, what happened? What happened? And I'm saying it now, just in case any one of the brothers ever come on this and watch this vibe. I'm saying, what happened? What happened? Explain that to me. Oh, you're gonna tell me he was living a wicked life secretly? That's what you're gonna say? What happened? My man's kept all feast days, participated in everything, gave his all music, etc. That's how he went out. Your God didn't even have show a little bit of mercy. He went out in agony and pain. You do know that don't make sense according to what the Bible says. Because again, religion, the government religion goes hand in hand. And both hands created a culture that you guys are following. And in return, look what we got. So if you was to ask me, what is the verdict? The verdict is quite simple. Based on all these exhibit presented, based on the historical records, based on the living experiences, based on the consistent harm, based on the facts and not the beliefs, this court found this system guilty on all counts for the destruction of the black family. The government, guilty. Religion, guilty. Culture, guilty. The facts are clear. The damage is real. And the verdict is final. Court is dismissed. Respect your DNA. We deal in facts and never beliefs. We deal with the facts and never beliefs. And for those that's been supporting, I appreciate it. For those that's on my IG, shout out to my bro, RIP to Mama Love and all that, man. But shout out to my bro. You know what he told me? He said, yo, bro, never change, bro. Continue doing what you're doing. Continue talking that talk. Anybody that knows me knows that I've been the same guy from the very beginning. I've never changed. I'm the same boy that turned into a man. I've always been against the system because the system took away my father. Once I realized that's what you did, public enemy number one. You think I would ever allow these niggas to put something in me for a job? Nigga, F the job, nigga. I'll be outside with a quarter, with a bucket. Nigga, I'll be just like everybody else, cleaning, doing whatever. The difference is I know how to survive. I know what will be priorities and what will be, the least prioritized. I already know that. And the will in me, the determination in me wouldn't even allow these people to even get far. The problem with us is we give up. You know why we give up? Because we was given a fairy tale story until that fairy tale story doesn't sit well with your reality. And then you blame God. No, yes, is that God. The God that they gave you is your demise. The religion that they gave you is your demise. There's nothing Abrahamic about us. Abrahamic is barbaric. Abraham was a barbarian. The story of Abraham literally was taken from the Hindu religion. The heck are you talking about? The Moses story comes from the Syrian people. The heck are you talking about? This is what they've been doing for countless years, doing the same thing. If it ain't broke, why fix it? I told the Wiz earlier today, I said, listen, you know that story with Moses walking around for 40 years until the old foots die out and then they allowed the children to enter? That's the same ideology that they did with us. When the slaves came here, the slaves or the indigenous people that was held captive, they let those people die off. Those the wisdom, etc., die off, and they was always going after the children. They tell you in the book, train up a child from young, and when they get old, they will never depart. And who's departing? Brothers and sisters is fighting over ideology that they can't prove. You can't prove to me that you are a child of Israel. You can't prove it. I don't want to hear writings because anything that's written by man could be always switch narrative up, down, and around the corner. I don't want to hear that. What I want you to do is provide me with actual DNA, which means that you must provide me an accurate person that came strictly from the Bible. Proof that this man was from the Bible. Take his DNA, put it under the machine and see if your DNA matches that. And I guarantee you none of these niggas will be able to do so. And we know why. Because none of this shit ever existed. These characters that they telling you about is literally allegory. Paul tells you that in the book. Matter of fact, let me pull this up for you bitch ass niggas. So, hold on. Hold on. I don't even think I even got the Bible in my joint anymore. I took that joint down. Let me see. Man, I took that joint down. Ain't no disrespect, but oh no. We still got it. Let me share my screen with you guys. Share my screen with you guys. Share my screen with you guys. All of this is on the fly, by the way. All of this is on the fly. All right, cool. Where this joint is at? Where joint? Acts 2, Galatians 4:22. Right here. 24. Let's start off with 21. Tell me, ye that desire to be under the law, do ye not hear the law? For it is written that Abraham had two sons, the one by a bondwoman, the other by a free woman. Well, free woman means Freemasons, by the way. But you know, we'll talk about that another time. Let us continue, right? But he who was of the bondwoman was born after the flesh, but he of the free woman was by the promise. Which things, listen, which things are a allegory, for these are the two covenants, the one from the Mount Sinai which gendereth to bondage, which is Agar. Which things are allegory. These are allegories, which means these things are a mystical story. These things are metaphorical into what they want to do with you. There's the promise and there's the bond. Who's the promise? Who are the ones living promising right now? And who are the ones that's suffering? Remember, Hagar is considered what? Ham. Remember, these people call you Ham. Remember, these people said that you are cursed. Remember that these are the ones that's creating this story for you to follow and oblige by and live and die by. And according to their beliefs, you know, the promise is passed on through the mother. Hagar was an Egyptian, which was Ham, which they considered you. But you let these laws, you know, these warrior type men who came out, who joined these Hebrew Israelites and created this nonsense, give you another story. Try to flip the switch. Can't flip something that doesn't exist. You can't prove something based on a vision that you had. You have to prove it based on archaeological information. If you tell me this is where these people was buried, or this is where our ancestors was walking for 40 years, who is going to walk for 40 years? You're talking about the people that was after all the stuff that God did, still wanted to make Aaron create a golden calf so they can worship their God. They had no respect for the God of the Biblos. So now you telling me they walked 40 years. You telling me these people didn't sit down and say, man, I'm tired of doing all this walking. So y'all niggas just gonna you just gonna have to let me die, bro. 40 years. I really want you guys to process that. Logically, I want you to process that. Can you see yourself as a human being walking around 40 years, round and round, round and round? This is not even trying to be funny. I really want you guys to answer that question. Do you honestly believe you can walk around for 40 years doing the same thing for 40 years? You believe you can do that? I'll wait for it. Until people was dying off? Can you imagine you walking 40 years and your best friend done died 10 years in that walk? Yo, bro, my man just died, yo. I'm tired. Yo, bro, if that's not something called mental slavery, I don't know what to tell you. You're literally watching your man's die, and it's like, sooner or later it's gonna be my turn, but hey, so be it. Look at the concept behind that. Look at the concept. Who is in that state of mind right now to this very day? Just make it make sense. That logic right there does not even add up with a human being's psyche, bro. Remember, we was created with a magnetic root, ignorant, disobedient off the gate. Off the gate. And you're telling me that we're gonna walk 40 years and just watch family members, relatives just die. Where was they buried? Did you guys eat the bodies? Because according to what the writing says, we went in there. According to what the writing says, it says you guys went into Egypt 70 deep. And when you left that sugar honey iced tea, you left in a multitude. A multitude could be anywhere from 100 to 1,000 to 500,000, even to 1,000,000. And you telling me that those people walked around for 40 years until they all died off. Listen, they died off. They had children and they said, I'm about to die, but it's all worth it because my children gets to get into the kingdom. These same children to fast forward to end up being rebellious. Yeah. 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 Mm-hmm. Yeah. What else is there for me to say? How much allegory do you need to hear in order to question what's going on? The story of Noah was taken from the Epic of Gilgamesh. We all know that. It's been justified and it's been proven. We know that. There was no such thing as Ham, Shem, Japheth. We know that. We're not related to none of these people in no way, shape, or form. Anything that was created and related to us and created by the universe need the sun to survive. If there's no sunlight within us, we become weak. When you watch these vampire movies, when the sun is bright, there's a particular group of people that can't take that. When you watch the movie Sinners, there's a particular group of people that sucks you dry. Pause. The whole universe been showing you what's really going on, but yet you guys are so ignorant because you really believe that your religious faith is going to get you into heaven or it's going to get you into paradise where you're going to have 500 concubines, etc., etc. You have to die to receive happiness. Let me say that again before I conclude. You have to die in order to receive happiness. But while you on this earth, fully awake and full control, you don't know what's on the other side, but you know what's going on in current time, real time. But while you here, you just continue suffering. Continue taking it on the chin. Continue giving the other cheek. Continue. Heck, some of you guys might be found unalive. But it'll be all worth it because there's somebody on the other side that's going to give you eternal life and happiness. And I just want to say one thing. For the brother that passed away and all of those that left their comments, etc., etc. When the brother died, I seen a brother put a post and says, "You're finally back home with the Father." But in my mind, I said, hold on. But according to the scriptures, isn't it when you leave this earth, you go into the bosom of Abram until the final day of judgment? How are you not dead and you're with the Father? Another high level of contradiction. And when you see these contradictions, bro, the only objective is to just stay away because shit does not make sense. And when it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make dollars. And if it doesn't make dollars, there's no reason for me to holler. There's no reason for you to holler. So which one is it? Are we going into the bosom of Abram or are we going into the kingdom of God and we're going to dwell in the kingdom with the person forever and ever? Or is it the Savior supposed to go down into the hells and rise you up from the dead? Which one is it? So while you sit back and trying to figure that out, I'm going to stay focused and in control of what I can control. And what I can control is what my children is exposed to, what I'm exposed to, what the Wiz and anybody that I love is exposed to. These are the shit that I can control. And no, I'm not the one that's just, coming on this internet and talking my talk. Oh no, this thing, this perspective is established in my household. We ain't subjecting to none of this Euro-Christian ideology. Because this Euro-Christian ideology has failed us. And if you don't believe that you failed, then that's for you. But for those that believe that this shit failed us, it's now for us. Now it's time for us to take another approach. Maybe it's time for us to start tapping into our vocabulary, customs, culture, heritage. And if you don't believe you come from El Kebulan and you from the indigenous places of America or the Caribbean, whatever, one thing for certain, two things for sure, your ancestors was never practicing nothing that came from the Abrahamic religion. And that is a goddamn fact. And with that being said, guys, it's your brother man from the motherland. I came to you guys live. Now, I want to give you guys a preview of the new name. The new name now is Junns, the HBIP, the head nigga in podcast. You heard? And make sure you guys get yourself some merch. The link is in the bio. Make sure you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble. Make sure you follow all these handlers. You want to donate, you want to support, the links are all in the bio. But again, we dealing with facts over beliefs. And if you don't believe what the facts are, then you are part of the problem. You are the enemy. And always remember, guys, respect your DNA. It's your brother, man. And I'm a holla. One.